Kryptonian dry cleaning wasn't just expensive, it was ludicrous. Clark Kent stared at the receipt in disbelief, the flimsy slip of paper almost laughing at him. $47. $3? For one cape, he muttered, shaking his head. And they didn't even get the scorch mark out. The woman behind the counter, her thick glasses magnifying eyes that had long ceased to care, shrugged. Flame-retardant silks aren't easy, sugar. You want it faster next time, that's an extra $500, Clark sighed. Living as Superman was one thing. Living as Clark Kent, who moonlighted as Superman, and who had to manage a journalist's salary while secretly outsourcing repairs for alien fabrics scorched during battles with fire-breathing monstrosities, that was another beast entirely, and so began the side hustles. It started small. A classified ad about the subway extension needing deep tunneling without disturbing surface infrastructure caught his eye. A late-night call, a quiet meeting with the foreman, and Superman, though never named, had his first client. "It's a miracle," the foreman whispered after the weekend Clark spent vibrating through soil, silently carving perfectly measured tunnels. "The city owes you one, whoever you are." That one job turned into another. Soon he was moving small office buildings, only at night, and always precisely returned to their foundations, albeit in slightly better positions for solar exposure. Clark liked to optimize. Then came the gig with FlashFast, a boutique delivery service for elite clients who wanted anonymity and speed. Disguised in courier gear and a ball cap pulled low, Clark delivered packages across continents in minutes. He was careful, always discreet, always making it back to the planet before his absence became too noticeable. But it took its toll. His apartment looked like a war zone, a pile of envelopes stuffed with cash hidden beneath the loose floorboard. His fridge held little more than mustard and a single, lonely soda. Lois had begun to notice. "You've missed 4 dinners this week," she said one evening, folding her arms as she leaned against his desk. "And unless the Daily Planet started paying in diamond-encrusted envelopes, I'd love to know how. You suddenly afford that watch." Clark looked up, startled. The watch had been a gift from a grateful diplomat whose international treaty was signed because Clark had overnighted key documents across the ocean. I've been freelancing," he stammered. Ghostwriting speeches for NGOs." "Ghostwriting," Lois said slowly, raising an eyebrow. "You, the guy who once submitted a food review with the headline, 'Burger Good.'" He winced. "I've grown." She didn't buy it, but she let it slide. For now, Clark's double life quickly spiraled into a triple one. He found himself sandwiched between emergencies, rescuing school buses on fire in the morning, ferrying priceless art for a billionaire's secret gallery at noon, then interviewing city officials by evening. He began to forget what excuse he gave to whom. He once arrived at a Daily Planet meeting in his courier uniform, only realizing it when Perry barked, "Nice to see you, Kent," joining the mailroom again. And yet, there was something humbling about it. He saw Metropolis not from above the skyline, but from its guts. He met welders who hadn't taken a day off in 20 years, single mothers waiting tables on sprained ankles, kids taking night shifts to support families. Superman had always helped, but Clark now understood. The turning point came on a Tuesday. The package was small, nondescript, a brown box with no return address. The client had paid in advance, triple rate, for discretion and speed. The pickup was arranged in a dark alley, standard FlashFast fare. Clark didn't ask questions. He should have. Barely halfway across the Atlantic, he noticed the drone following him. Not just any drone. Stealth tech, energy signature dampened, armed. He lost it easily, but the implications made his skin crawl. By the time he delivered the box to a marble estate in the Swiss Alps, he'd memorized its weight, dimensions, and internal components. Kryptonian vision wasn't to be wasted. A high-frequency transmitter, encrypted. Illegal in 12 countries. Worse, one of Intergang's custom signal scramblers. Clark returned to Metropolis furious. He tracked the original sender, a shell company, buried under fake aliases. He followed the trail, quietly dismantling Intergang's latest operation. 1. Designed to knock out communication grids and leave the city vulnerable for a takeover. It took 3 days, 5 cities, and one very close call with Lois, who showed up at a charity gala where Clark, disguised as a valet, was tailing an Intergang courier. "You look familiar," she said, eyeing him as he handed her the keys to a borrowed sports car. "Everyone says that," he replied, deepening his voice and averting his gaze. She narrowed her eyes. "You should come by the planet sometime. Our real valet quit months ago." The chaos finally caught up with him. He missed an editorial deadline, showed up at a hostage situation an hour late, and accidentally called Lois Ms. Lang during a dinner he actually remembered to attend. "Okay," she said, putting down her fork. "What's going on?" He froze. She leaned forward, elbows on the table, eyes locked with his. "You're distracted. You're exhausted. And that's not guilt in your voice. It's panic." Clark considered lying, considered denying. Instead, he laughed. A long, tired, slightly manic laugh. "I've been taking side jobs," he admitted, "to cover things, repairs, suits, rent. Also, someone keyed the fortress elevator." She blinked. "You've been moonlighting?" "Only at night," he added helpfully. Lois groaned. "You're Superman, not Super Uber." He told her everything. The moving buildings, the deliveries, the Intergang package, the encounter with a pyrokinetic ex-hero turned hired arsonist. "He said he needed money for rent," Clark explained. "The sewer network he redesigned in one weekend, and I still couldn't figure out how to fix the dishwasher," he concluded. She was silent for a long moment. Then slowly she started to laugh. You absolute Boy Scout. You're not mad?" "Oh, I'm furious," she said, still chuckling, but also incredibly impressed. Who knew the Man of Steel had a blue-collar side? Their conversation turned serious after that. "You could have told me," Lois said quietly. "We'd have figured it out together. I didn't want to worry you, or make you think I was exploiting my powers." She tilted her head. "Clark, you were exploiting your powers." He winced. "But," she continued, "you did it to survive. You helped people. And you didn't lose yourself in it." He thought of the Intergang courier, of the ex-hero who took jobs burning rival warehouses, of the kids he passed working 3 jobs. The line between surviving and compromising blurred quickly. "I see now how hard people work," he said softly. "How tempting it is to cut corners, but that's not who I want to be." In the weeks that followed, Clark wrapped up his side hustles. He returned every excess payment, rebuilt a rooftop garden he'd accidentally trampled during a late delivery, and made quiet donations to families he'd met along the way. The foreman from the subway. He now had a full crew and a plaque commemorating the Silent Digger. The diplomat with the fancy watch? Clark mailed it back with a note recommending a faster postal service. He wrote a column under a pseudonym titled "The Invisible Labor of the City." It won an award. Lois framed it. Life returned to something resembling normal. Clark still helped where he could, but he now made time. For himself, for Lois, for the city. The cape was cleaner, the suits were less singed, and he even managed to cook dinner twice a week. One evening, as they stood on the roof of their apartment building, Lois rested her head on his shoulder. "You're still a bit of an idiot," she murmured. "I know. But you're my idiot." He smiled, holding her close as the lights of Metropolis twinkled below them. And somewhere in the city, a subway car rumbled through a tunnel dug by hands that knew the weight of the world. Both. Above and below,